So this comes from the New York Times. It's an article by one Julia Bade called "Stand Up for Your Cats." Yes, now, one notable thing about Julia Bade is she holds a BA and a PhD in history from the University of Sydney. She's an author of, quote, "Media Tarts, How the Australian Press Frames Female Politicians," based on her doctoral dissertation, and is now at work on a biography of Queen Victoria, no doubt to show just exactly how she was oppressed by the patriarchy. Anyway, in her bullshit article called "Stand Up for Your Cats," Julia starts out with "Taylor Swift, I salute you. Not for your snappy songs and satora fare. Although these are all fine things, I applaud you for the fact that you have almost single-handedly skewered the myth of the owner of the feline as a tragic, rejected, quote, crazy cat lady, because you know how much Bill Gates did for men who are considered evil, greedy, because he was so generous. That's right. Celebrities, when they act on behalf of everyone of their race and gender. Their actions reflect not on the individual, but on the race and gender as a whole. So if one person of my gender does a good thing, it reflects directly on me. I could be a serial killer, and yet that one good person who is white or who is male makes me a good person, and he is debunking all myths that I am bad. So, Julia, you are full of bullshit. Miss Swift regularly poses with and posts about her two Scottish fold cats, Meredith and Olivia, with unabashed pride. She posts their pictures on Instagram and has been featured in commercials where she is swarmed by fluffy cats. All the while still managing to somehow remain desirable. And yet we look at her discography, and we see that most of her top hits are about breaking up and mourning over boys. So yes, she has remained desirable, and yet she is a moper herself. "It's a daily struggle," she tweeted, "not to buy more cats, because they're like children to me." I added the children. "The long-standing irrational bias against cats stems from the archaic views about women. Of course it's about women. Never mind the fact that cats are the most prominent pet in the world. Way back to ancient Egypt, people were worshipping the damn things. No, we have a irrational bias against these cats. Their owners are more likely to be single women than single men, by a whopping 9%. That's a total of 13% of people who own cats are, according to the American Pet Association, single. So the stereotype is redundant because stereotypes are naturally an aggregate of the population as a whole. So if the majority of people who own cats are doing one thing, that's the stereotype. We seem unable to contemplate the thought of a woman enjoying the sweet company of a cat without assuming it is the hallmark of a sad, single existence. The words woman and cat don't conjure up thoughts of glamorous fast life, but pajamas, Chinese takeout, bowls of Ben & Jerry's, couches, and DVDs. The words associated with cat lady on Urban Dictionary, because that is a perfectly legitimate source to get your definitions for words from. For example, include, quote, lame, forever alone, spinster, ice cream, and, quote, smelly, nice. A man and his dog, on the other hand, are icons of independence, freedom, and adventure, which is complete and utter bullshit. A dog is not independent like a cat. It relies quite a bit on its owner to reassure it, to give it its daily ego boost. Otherwise it'll mope around and act as if you weren't giving it enough attention. A cat doesn't give a shit what you think of it, and they're much more independent than a dog. Granted, this is partly because dogs tend to be happier accompanying you to places outside your own home, because they have a sense of loyalty that cats lack, which is also a sense of dependence. But Miss Swift takes Meredith out in Manhattan, and the singer Kesha takes her cat on airplane flights. Must female cat owners consistently have their sanity questioned simply because they like to coexist with purring furballs? It depends. There is an extreme here, an obvious one. If you want to be floating in a flock or a herd of cats, yes, I think we have every right to question your sanity. There is definitely an extreme, and you do not want to cross it if you want to be considered sane. This is not a tired cat versus dog debate. This is a man versus woman debate. No, I just made that up. Everyone loves dogs, even if they do, say, eat the feces of other animals, hull at ambulances, delight in bottom sniffing, and even, like my old Labrador, eat jellyfish until their faces are numb. Is there anything a Labrador won't eat? Well, obviously. It should be pointed out that many men also love cats. Completely irrelevant, and yet you feel the need to convince us of it, as if you are trying to convert us over to feminism. Does cats now equal feminism? And you will go on to provide points to bolster this assertion. Ernest Hemingway was mad about polydactyl, or six-toed cats, and kittens played with Winston Churchill's newspapers as he read and sat alongside him during meals. Ricky Gervais frequently tweets about his cat, Ollie. He even aspires to the cat lady life, telling HBO, now all of a sudden it's okay, telling HBO, quote, "My evenings usually consists of sitting on the couch in my PJs from 6 p.m. with the cat on my lap watching crappy television. Ricky, you may join the feminist sisterhood of spinster, forever alone cat lovers. Cat men and women, we have the numbers. There are now roughly 95.6 million cats in America, and the number continues to grow as cats are an obvious endemic problem in America, because people have not learned to have them spayed or neutered. And this is in contrast to 83.3 million canines. We also have science on our side. That is so comforting. Never mind that it's a pseudo-science that you have on your side. It's a baloney botched full of bullshit. Looking at only one side of the numbers science. But if that comforts you, more power to you. Studies have shown that cat owners are less likely than those who have never owned a cat to die of cardiovascular disease, and pet owners have a decreased risk of a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, as opposed to a non-cat owner. Apparently, these studies did not compare cat ownership with dog ownership. Researchers from the Miami University and St. Louis University found, quote, pet owners had greater self-esteem, were more physically fit, tended to be less lonely. Obviously, that's one of the reasons you might keep an animal. To keep you company. Were more conscientious. Were more extroverted, tended to be less fearful, and tended to be less preoccupied than non-owners. Is being preoccupied a bad thing? I don't think so. Less lonely, happier, fitter. Pets don't indicate mental illness, and yet you have approached this from a position where you assume they did, and then set out to disprove it. You are just disproving your own assertions. Miss Swift, who faces a constant barrage of questions about boyfriends and being single, mocked the cat lady stereotype to a reporter, joking, that if she does not find a man by 30, she will naturally become scared, housebound, and, quote, surrounded by cats. So many cats, they're divided themselves up into armies, and she wanders around roaring, blah, 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 blah. Afraid to have people over, yeah, right. Well, it's not really surprising that someone might confront Miss Swift with a constant barrage of questions pertaining to her love life, considering most of her songs are based around it and her dysfunctional relationships. This generation of young female celebrities, I'm pretty sure it should be are. This generation of young female celebrities are refusing. Yes, not supposed to be is, supposed to be are. I know it's pedantic, but it's wrong. Refusing to be portrayed on a perpetual sad manhunt. Obviously, because that's what Taylor Swift sort of is up to. One failed relationship after another. She sings about it. It's her career. Asked at an event what she looks for in a man, Rihanna tartly and perfectly responded, "Fuck men." Oh no, I mean, I'm not looking for a man. Let's start there. Katy Perry told Rolling Stone, we love Rolling Stone, they're not full of shit by any degree, that she would happily have a child on her own. Quote, "I don't need a dude." Obviously, she's a misandrist. I mean, that's what a man would likely be called if he said the same thing. I mean, the exact same stereotype you are attempting to debunk here would be perpetuated against such an individual if he was of the masculine gender. Miss Swift has become defined by her posse of female friends, as well as her feline companions. Part of the appeal of cats is that they are independent and what? What? No, you just said dogs are independent. Now cats are independent? Wow, you are batshit crazy. Part of the appeal of cats is that they are independent and discerning. They have few needs. They come to you when you want. You can't force them or cajole them. They can be fiercely affectionate. They are gloriously indifferent. Cats don't pretend to like you, and don't give a damn if you like them. Let's start there. You heard it here, ladies. You need to don't give a damn what anybody thinks of you. Now, while I agree that being overly susceptible to peer pressure or society pressure is a bad thing, and asserting your own independence is a positive, you shouldn't go overboard, or you'll end up as the exact same sort of person this Julia Bard is attempting to eradicate. Thank you for listening, and until next time, farewell.
Come on.